Oh my goodness. Hello.
There we are.
Welcome. It's Saturday. It's 10 a.m. on the West Coast, and it's April 20th for all of you pot smoking people. This is your Super Bowl.
420.
420. Also, isn't it Hitler's birthday?
Oh, I have no idea. I did not keep track of that.
I think that had something to do with 420. I'm not sure.
Huh.
But yes, welcome. We don't talk about pot smoking on this particular show. I'm sure there are lots of them today that we'll be talking about that. We talk about cars. Here at CarYada, we talk about buying, selling, trading, leasing, credit, whatever. We put our camera at a different angle today, so a lot of times we're going to be doing this.
We might be doing that.
So I apologize for that. But the audio version, you can't tell. It'll sound the same.
Yes, and we need one of those AI things where it keeps your head straight no matter what, and keeps your eyes looking at one particular thing, regardless of what you're. Yeah.
Or just a union person that'll just hold our faces.
Yes, just so keeping the.
Yeah. We have a lot to talk about because we've been off for 2 weeks.
Yes,
and a lot's happened in 2 weeks. But the important thing I want to talk about first is if you have any questions about buying, selling, trading, leasing, credit, whatever.
Or restoration or mechanical
repairs.
Issues, repairs, leasing is certainly important. But we also want to open it up to other things. You got a funny sound in your car. Why is it making that sound? We'll see if we can help you.
Right. We're here for whatever. Raffi, of course, is an auto expert when it comes to anything. He's an expert. I mean, he's like Google, really. I can ask him anything, and he's like, "Oh, well, I know that," and he's usually right, which is sad because I can't. I've tried to stump him in real life. It doesn't work. I've been at car shows. I take a little picture of a tiny piece of a car. I go, "What is it?" He goes, "Well, it's obviously Italian." I mean, obviously. How can you tell from that little picture? And he's right. And of course, if you've been watching, listening, I've been in the car business. I'm a third generation car guy.
3-generation car guy.
Yes, my grandfather was in the junk car business. He had recycling.
Oh wow, that early
in the 30s.
How about that?
They did auto recycling, and then my dad had a new auto parts store, and then I've been in the car business
ever since.
Yeah, for a long, long time. Right off the bat, we have a good morning. Gents, I hope neither of you is going to get a cyber truck. We're going to talk about the cyber truck. Adam always knows my opening topic.
What we're going to talk about. Well, and it's fitting because it is 420.
Yes.
So
yes, and Elon Musk literally put his career up in smoke when he smoked pot on the Joe Rogan show.
Yes, he did.
It's like from that point on, I feel like he's just gone
downhill since.
Jake's Pickup says good morning.
Good morning to Jake. And if you have not been to Jake's Pickup, stop on by and pick up one of those fantastic scone nuts. He's also during the weekdays he's doing breakfast sandwiches. Fridays breakfast sandwich.
Friday breakfast sandwich, and then every day 11 to 2. If you're on the local Seattle area, come over to Bainbridge Island.
Fabulous hot sandwiches.
If you're not, mail order.
And you know, many people come from Seattle just to stop at Jake's for a sandwich.
Yes.
Best food you can get. Certainly the best food you can get in a gas station.
Oh, I dare you to find better food in any gas station in the entire world.
I guarantee it. There's no way. And he's a world-class chef. Did you know that?
World-class.
Top chef guy. You know, working at Top Chef. Absolutely.
It turned into an infomercial for Jake. I guess you want a free scone nut today.
Yeah.
Rocky's working. He goes, come on, Jake. I'll be over after the show. So let's bring up the first topic of the day, the Cybertruck, because it's been in the news. They did a big recall. There's only 4,000 that have been
4,000 have been shipped.
Have been delivered.
Yes, to customers.
Yes, 4,000 are in the hands of customers, and there's a little problem. The accelerator gets stuck at 100%, which means that this is a vehicle that, what's it weigh? 9,000 pounds or something?
Is it that much? I thought it was
6,000 pounds. It's heavy,
something like that.
And it gets stuck at 100%, and it goes 0 to 60 in 2.9.
That seems about right. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yes, it is. And now it's not the first car to be recalled on accelerator pedal sticking.
Toyota had that problem.
Although it was not in the mechanism.
It was the floor mat.
It was the floor mat would get stuck underneath and cause it. Now a similar thing appears to be happening with the Cybertruck in that when you mash the pedal, there's some, I guess, 2 layers of material. They get separated a little bit and causes it to stick a little bit too much. But the most famous unintended acceleration was the Audi. And Audi's
the Audi 5000.
Yes, from the
mid 80s.
80s. Yeah. those were an enormous problem, and it was thousands and thousands of cars, tens of thousands of cars that were affected by the unintended acceleration. And this was just when Audi was beginning to make significant inroads in the United States. And the Audi 5000 was a significant and important car. It really established Audi in the US market, one of the most advanced designs at that time. Sort of the first car to round things out a little bit more and create a little bit more organic looking body design in the mid 80s. But the Cybertruck has some substantial problems. And this is a situation that's going to have to be remedied not only for all 4,000 trucks, but they're going to have to go back and figure out and confirm what they can do to get that acceleration, the accelerator pedal situation repaired.
Yeah, it's what they call a hot mess. Adam said that a dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. That's good.
I would also agree with.
Yes. Well, and the car itself is already a very, very polarizing vehicle, not only from the design, but from several aspects of the build quality. Some of the features seem to be dangerous. Some of the componentry seems to be problematic. It is a massive, massive vehicle. I've seen another one on the road just the other day.
There are 3 here on the island.
Oh, there are.
There are 3. So there's only 4,000 total deliveries.
Yes.
And we have 3 of them here on Bainbridge Island.
Yeah, well,
I can't do math, but that's like 0.1% almost.
Yeah. Well,
0.75%.
And they're supposed to be.
I think it's got that right.
They're supposed to be making thousands more.
Yeah.
So they've got to halt what they're doing and repair that situation so that it not only serves as the corrected functional element, but it has to pass additional rigor to make sure that, yeah, that's a great photo. Just hundreds of them stacked up there. Yeah.
Hold on, open a new tab.
That's quite a few. And look, these.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's quite a few. And look, I do admire risk, design risk in any product development. So the Cybertruck has done a great job of being something that is unique, different, not like anything else on the road, whatever you want to call it. But it may have been too much, too soon, and not enough careful thinking and engineering, processing and development to be able to determine not just the problem with the unintended acceleration, but some of the other situations, the concerns, material problems, etc.
Adam brings up a very good point. He says, I think the only reason they recalled them was because the one guy pointed out the problem in a video and it blew up.
Yeah.
The video blew up, not the Tesla.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have recalled without being called out on. A lot of called on that. Yeah, but if you think about like the Ford Pinto,
yes,
that had all the issues. Imagine how quicker if people had cell phones back then.
Yeah.
You had people getting pictures of it. Think of how many times something goes wrong with the vehicle and you never hear about it. Yeah. I've purchased vehicles at auctions in the past, and when I go to return it because something happened, the truck damaged it, they make me sign a non-disclosure and a non-disparagement agreement before they'll give me my money back because they don't want it to be found. And that's just a tiny little auction years ago. So imagine what happens. I mean, social media just controls everything. There's one positive to social media right there is you can make companies account for crappiness.
Yes. And not just that, but everyone has turned into sort of real-time reporters out there because you can film it, you can capture it on video, and then you've got this artifact that you can then upload to your YouTube channel, put it out there, talk about it, and people pay attention.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not drinking beer. This is a Starbucks Nitro cold brew. It does look like
I'm drinking tea. Cheers.
You have to drink after you cheers.
Okay. That's right.
Bad luck. Although we didn't do the eyes. You're supposed to look when you toast.
That's right.
Anyway, again, for audio, that made no sense. Oh, here's a good question. We'll bring this up in a second.
Okay.
So the Cybertruck is grounded. Like they put a stop sale order. So you can't, if you had one on the way, you cannot pick it up until they fix this issue. And apparently I heard something about as a lubricant and these two pieces that are having problems, they use soap.
Oh, really?
They found soap in there. Like that was what they rubbed in because in the factory, somebody figured soap.
Well, to be fair, soap is actually not a bad thing as a lubricant because dry soap, like bar soap, if you put it on the wood gliders of older cabinets,
Yeah.
the drawers will slide in and out very smoothly. It's not a bad thing because soap is basically durable under all sorts of different circumstances.
All right.
It stays slippery when it's cold, and when it gets really warm, it still holds its it doesn't melt out.
But the problem is if it gets wet, it gets bubbly.
There's
you get
that.
Suds, and suds can't be good.
There's that. Yeah. But it doesn't surprise me. Years ago when I worked at Boeing, there was a situation where
that's like a name drop, but that's like a company drop.
Well, all right. I could say when I worked in the aerospace industry in Washington.
Boeing. You worked at Boeing before they had some issues.
Yes, before there was.
Way back when.
Yeah. So they were having trouble with the place where the wing joins the fuselage on the airplane. And so that's a really high stress area. It has to fit really tight and things have to hold together there because the airplane's going up and down. It's cycling through all sorts of pressurization problems. So they found after a certain period of time that the 757 was having trouble with that area and they couldn't figure out why. And it turned out that in the third shift of people assembling the fuselage to the wing, they were hammering on the wing section to get it to fit because it wasn't fitting properly.
They should use some dial soap.
Yes. And so they soaped it up. They fit it.
Okay, so why jelly?
There's all kinds of things. When you're under the pressure of trying to build something and stuff has to ship and shareholders are leaning on you and executives are screaming at you, and you do whatever is necessary to get that product done and out there. And unfortunately, because we're in a much more highly accelerated manufacturing system now, where things happen at rapid rates, humans are supposed to do things at even more highly accelerated rates. And this is affecting automobiles. It's affecting television manufacturing. It's affecting all kinds of product manufacturing. And of course, we see the longevity of product being diminished because materials are being minimized so that profits can be maximized.
Yeah, and I think part of the issue with electric vehicles in general is you do have a lot of companies that are just shareholder based. Are any of the companies private? Even Polestar is publicly traded now.
Is Lucid private?
Lucid, I think they might be public, but they're funded by the United Arab Emirates or whatever.
Saudi consortium.
Yeah. So Lucid, by the way, is getting cheaper and cheaper. They're all getting cheaper because here's what happened. Tesla was the most profitable company other than I think Ferrari per car. They're making $9,600 a car or something like that, which is unheard of.
That's a lot of money.
Because usually you make your money, you lose money on the sale of the car, you make money in the service and parts. And Tesla doesn't have service and parts departments similar to regular dealerships because there's 20 moving parts on an electric car.
Yeah.
There's not as many moving parts. And there's 2,000 on a traditional car. So more to break.
Yeah.
Most people that want an electric car have an electric car.
Yeah.
Some of them, you're not converting a ton of new people, but now leases are coming up, which I want to talk about in a second with Polestar. I got a very interesting offer the other day that I want to discuss. But cars are getting cheaper and cheaper. Some of the leases right now, Subaru, I might have mentioned this a few weeks ago, Subaru, the Solterra, which is the same as the Lexus SUV that's all electric, and the Toyota, I think it's called like the BZ42 or something. It's got some weird name.
Right.
They're all the same platform. The Subaru version, the Solterra, is available right now for $300 a month with $300 due at signing.
Okay.
So you walk in with $300, you walk out with a 36-month lease at $300 a month. It makes no sense not to do it.
Yeah, that's
like if you want an electric
expensive
vehicle.
Yeah.
and they're really nice. The problem is they don't have huge range. They don't have huge speed. Now, Polestar, when I went to Pittsburgh last weekend, instead of parking at the airport and paying $180 or whatever, the service center is right by the airport. So I kept having this error. My external speakers have not worked for about 6 months.
Okay.
And the external speakers do not play music. They play and beep, beep, beep when you back up. So they make noise. So the car's not totally silent.
Pedestrians can hear you.
Yeah, so I don't hit people. I'm like, come on. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to drive all the way out there. They don't always have a loaner available. So I'm like, can I drop it off Thursday night? I'm flying out. I'll pick it up Monday.
Okay.
No problem.
All right.
Drop it off. And they gave me a ride to the airport. I was planning on paying for an Uber. They go, oh, we'll take you over there. So one of the guys jump in a Polestar. He drops me off at the airport. So go on Monday. I did Uber back. So it's like $8. It's that close. So for $8, I got my car taken care of. While I was there, I guess they knew I was there. They could tell by whatever. I get an email. Polestar now has a program for current lessees. I'm a lessee.
You're a lessee.
My lease is up in September. So what? April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 6 months from now.
Okay.
I can return it today, like that, if I lease a new one.
So they'll go straight across.
So just give me another one. Now the problem,
not a bad deal.
Right now, if I go 36 months again, then I'm stuck for the next 36 months. But I can get almost the same payment for a brand new one.
Okay.
Or they have what's called a flexible lease. If you select their 24-month lease, after you've made 5 payments, you can walk away at any time. So I only have 6 months left. In theory, if I can get the payment at least close to what I'm paying, I'll pay a little extra.
Right.
If I can get it close to what I'm paying now, I can get a brand new one for the next 6 months.
Oh, and then you can walk away.
And then I can walk away, which is what I'm going to do anyway. So it gives me time to shop, and then it gives me a brand new vehicle. And I'm going to go white this time.
You're getting a white one.
I'm going to go white. I'm going to become a white car guy. Because I saw the white car come through, and I was like, they look so nice. Let me pull one up real quick.
I think the white one, I think it's got a better visual presence. The black one, you don't get the window signature as much. There's much more contrast between the black glass and the I also think it's going to be you're going to save money on your car washes, because the black car, especially with all the pollen out here during this time of the year.
I know.
Oh, pollen, really? I mean, look how the new one.
That's the new one. So
it's a good looking
it's
car.
Got cool wheels.
Yeah.
It's got the solid white grill now instead of the black grill.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get, and I get leather now. Leather wasn't an option when I got my, oh no, it was an option, but it was like $6,000.
Wow.
Now it's like 2,500, I think, maybe 4,000.
There you go.
But it's heated and ventilated seats when you go with the leather.
Very nice.
And the big problem I have with my car is the seats are not that comfortable.
Oh.
But I've had a loaner twice that was leather and much more comfortable.
More comfortable.
So I might do this.
I think you should do it.
Yes.
Get the white one, get the leather, get that 6-month deal going, and you'll have yourself a great opportunity. Let's make sure we get back to Dan's comment.
Well, I just want to show this real quick. So this is the next one that's coming out.
Oh, the new one.
This is the 4 that I would love to get as my next car. Now, here's what's interesting with this one. I'll just pull up this, share this tab instead. So here's what's interesting with this one.
That's a good looking car.
It's very similar. They definitely have a look.
Taller platform.
Right.
Looks like it's probably about 7-8 inches taller than your car.
But
higher ground clearance.
Here's something here. There's no rear window.
Oh.
They're going no rear window. It's just a big camera.
So camera park.
Everything in your rear view mirror is in a camera only.
Wow.
Which means the whole put your hand back and do this.
Yeah, you won't be doing that.
You can't do that anymore, which I don't do anyway, because I've got cameras and mirrors. I don't need it.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that's going to be an interesting.
Well, eventually there's going to be no need to have glass in a vehicle at all.
Yeah. Because
cars will be driving themselves and you won't need to see anything.
And look at the car on the side there. That's the Aria.
Yes.
Named after your daughter.
After my daughter.
They're getting cheaper and cheaper.
$43,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the question. Let's go to the comment section here.
All right, what do we
Dan says, can the date codes with tires on new vehicles that are stockpiled as they become an issue, perhaps requiring replacement before being sold?
got? Oh, that's a good
I
question.
think a car would have to be sitting for 7 or 8 years before that's an issue.
So the general consensus, it's a great question. On every contemporary tire, modern manufacturing now includes a date code on tires. It's a 4-digit code now. The first two are the week of the year, and the second two are the 2 digits of the year. So if you have 2024, that is the 20th week of 2024 for the manufacture of your tires. Now, prior to that, there were other methods of date coding, but most of the tires on the market today will have that 4-digit date code. Dan's question is, if cars are sitting for a long period of time and they've been pulled back on recall, will that affect the date codes on the tire? What tires age mostly by is UV exposure, so excessive sunlight, and hot and cold cycles while sitting. So if you have a car, let's just say in Colorado, and you park it in the winter and don't drive it at all, it's sitting on the tires for a long period of time, and that can develop what's called a cold set as the temperatures go down quite low, even though the car is stored in your garage.
Right.
So in the spring, when there's a thaw, you get in, you drive your car. Now your car will have a notable flat spot, which will eventually run out. But those hot and cold cycles and UV exposure from sunlight will degrade the rubber and will cause the tires to age prematurely. Now, premature aging on the tires might mean that after 4 to 5 years, your tires would be more susceptible to breakdown. But generally speaking, tires at about age 7 to 9 years are generally considered okay. Most people will have driven the tread off the tires within 7 to 9 years because, look, that's if you do 10,000 miles a year, that's 70,000 miles.
Right.
And most tires are not going to last longer than 50, 60,000 miles. So tires will usually age out from lack of use. And if they're sitting for long periods of time, well, 2-3 years won't necessarily impact that. What you do want to watch out for, though, is sometimes you'll go to a tire store and you'll ask for a specific brand or a specific type of tire, and that might be an unusual tire, and they might have it on the rack, but it might have been sitting there for quite some time unsold, or they pulled it from another stock where they've had it in a warehouse. So it might be 2024 and they're installing 2022 tires. This is not necessarily a reason for concern. However, if you go to resell a car, they'll look at the tires and they'll say, these are older than,
Right.
And you lose 2 years of value in the statement of the date on your tires.
Now, one thing I just noticed, this is unusual. Well, Dan just wants to know real quick. New car 2-year-old tires from the stockpile, would it be a discount?
That's possible.
You could say something to the dealership. Hey, these tires are 2 years old. I want new tires.
Absolutely.
And they'll just swap them out with another car if it's a new car dealership.
That's right.
They don't pull the wheels off, put them on. So there you go.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you a discount.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to find somebody that doesn't notice the
And by the way, when you go to a tire shop, and let's say, for example, you go and you want to get new wheels on your car. And so you're going to need new wheels and tires. You can often get trade value on the tires if your date codes are fairly current and tread wear is even, and your wheels are actually in good shape. You can get trade value on those because they can resell them.
Yes. Now, I just noticed something, little inside baseball thing here, or behind the scenes. So normally we originally we're showing the show everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, wherever we could. And then I said, I want to get more people to the CarYada YouTube channel, which I'm showing right here. It's youtube.com/@CarYada. So please follow, like, subscribe to that channel, because eventually the show will only be there. But we're always going everywhere. So this morning when I set up the show, I put it on Twitter, which I haven't done a lot, or X, excuse me, in a long time. We never get anybody watching on Twitter.
No one watches on Twitter.
Ever. Today, we've got people watching on Twitter
Well,
because, and that's, I have the feed here to see, because we don't see the comments. If somebody comments on Twitter, we don't see it on this StreamYard thing we're using. So I pulled it up on my phone because I'm worried that now that, because I used hashtag Tesla and we've talked about Tesla and Elon owns X.
Oh, no.
And I'm worried that he's got some bot that's listening to us now.
We're worried about Elon.
I'm not worried because I mean, what I said. Now, if he wants to comment, please, Elon,
please, yes,
let us know about the Cybertruck.
Make no mistake about it. Dan and I have been. If you go back and listen to earlier shows, we've been very vocal about what Elon Musk and Tesla have accomplished. It's absolutely phenomenal. If you think about the history of automobile development, nobody did what Tesla has done. Nobody came close to what they've done. And they continue to have dominance that is now fading simply because they built an enormous market and everybody had to pay attention. So they did a remarkable and admirable job. But like with a lot of innovators, it's difficult to continue to be a leader. Henry Ford had that problem. He designed, developed, and put out in production the Model T, which was enormously popular. Millions were sold in a very short period of time.
Well, here's the question. Why was the Model T first and then the Model A second? And there was B. Why did they start with A and go A, B, C, D, E?
There was a Model A before the Model T.
The A was before the T?
There was an A before the T. It was the A before the T, and then after that, the Model A came out. It was technically re-established later as the Model A.
But there's no B, C, E, D. He just went right to the T. He's an anti-Semite. Anyway, so
that is true. Henry Ford was an anti-Semite. It's historically documented, was not denied, but there are all sorts of other things.
Elon's online too? Elon
online too. Let's see what Elon has to say. Here we go. Oh, Elon says, "Hey there, how's everything going?"
Shut up. Stop talking about me. He does the little head thing when he talks. It's good.
It could be the cannabis cycle.
It could be. Here's my prediction for Tesla in 10 years.
All right.
They won't be making cars anymore.
What will they be?
Tesla will be the Microsoft of the electric car industry. They'll be the software provider because their software is better. I've driven 20 different electric cars probably.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla has the best software to this point. They have the best interface. They have the best auto driving. They're a software company. And I really think their cars were profitable at the beginning and they're going to start lowering. And as they lower the prices, they're actually killing their competition. If they only make 1,000 a car, they knock every car down $8,000, which they've gone even further. Think about, they got everybody is moving to their charging port.
Right.
Polestar will have theirs in 25. All of them they won't have the one this CCS2 or whatever it's called. They'll have the little one that'll be there. It's going to be, you're going to have software and you're going to have the electrical charging infrastructure. And that's going to be what Tesla does, and solar. That's going to be Tesla. They're going to be that company. I don't think they might have a car. I don't think they're going to be a full-fledged car company.
So it's an interesting prediction. I don't think it's
maybe 15 years.
And 10 years is a pretty short period of time for that much change. However, if you go back in history to the turn of the century, the early 1900s.
All right, we're here.
Okay.
Hey, look at here. Say, nah.
Concurrent with the development of the Model T was an enormous industry with over 1,000 individual car companies manufacturing electric cars.
Right.
And gas-burning automobiles. The electric car was so popular at the time and very, very well. It was selling several, like in the thousands, which was a lot at that time. They were expensive, of course, but an automobile was expensive for anybody until the Model T came out. Very bare bones, extremely affordable car. But the electric car was concurrent with gas-powered vehicles. Gas-powered vehicles accelerated at a much higher rate because agricultural implements, farm tools and things like that, were also gas-powered. And so places that were more rural had access to gasoline.
Right.
And electrical infrastructure for charging had not yet been fully established across the country. So that gave the gas-powered vehicle a big advantage in rural communities. So what happened was there was almost immediately consolidation. So small companies got soaked up into larger companies, and you got larger and larger consortiums of electric manufacturing companies, but they still were not able to survive. Now, what I think is going to happen is something similar to what you've said. I think Tesla is going to either merge with another grouping of electric cars to produce electric cars, but their lead technology will not be drivetrain technology. I think you're right that their lead technology will probably be software, but I think that their applications will not be limited to just automotive mobility. I think it's going to be mobility across the board, buses, commercial vehicles, possibly military, all sorts of things. And commercial vehicles as a separate division may go off to another car company for manufacturing.
Yeah. And look, our Twitter feed just said lost connection, trying to reconnect. Thank you, Elon.
Elon's cut us off.
You know his AI is listening to everything we say.
I'm sure
on X. I know. I forgot to do Twitch. I should have done Twitch. We haven't had our Northern Ireland guy in a while.
Oh, that's right. I'm twitching just thinking about it.
Okay, so totally to shift gears. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the comment section.
There you go.
Post your car questions. We'll answer anything you want to know about buying, selling, trading, collecting, repairing.
And if we don't know the answer, we will make up a really clever one.
That is true. And you won't know the difference.
And you won't.
You have no idea. And if you already bought a car and you want to know if you got a good deal, yes, you did.
Yes, you got a good deal.
I'm not going to rain on your parade.
We're not going to tell you, oh, you got soaked. Oh, dear.
So my good friend Eric, who I hung out with a lot last week when I was in Pittsburgh, and his garage, he was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm messing my garage. Meanwhile, he's got these huge shelves and bins. And to me, it was like, compared to my garage, it was spotless. But he's working on cleaning it out. And we were talking a little bit this morning, or chatting, or texting about garages.
Oh, yeah.
And how a lot of people don't use their garage for their car.
Yes.
They can't fit. Like, I've got a 3-car garage. I'm very lucky. And we have 2 cars in the garage, and we have storage in the third space. When I had my DeLorean, it had its own space. So part of me wants to get another car just so I have a space to put it in. And it'll force us to be a little cleaner. But there are companies out there that will come, they'll build cabinetry and shelving, and they'll do the epoxy on the floor. And at some point, I'll probably get that done, or so, I don't know. But he brought up a good point. He has a minivan.
Yeah.
And he can't fit his minivan through the door in his garage, or he can't fit it into his garage.
He must have an older home.
He doesn't. That's what's amazing. His house is not, it's probably built in the mid 90s, 2000, early 2000s. It's not that old of a house. It's not like, I understand a house in the 60s, or
does he have a pull down door or a roll up door?
It's got 2 electric doors. There's 2 of them.
And the height is
and his driveway kind of comes down, and like he can come down and get he's got a little Jeep he can fit in there, Jeep Compass, but his wife's minivan does not fit in, and it's just bad design.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard of that?
No, the standard garage door is open enough. It's the height is tall enough to where a pickup truck can go in, and a minivan
definitely can't fit in his.
A minivan is lower than a pickup truck.
I was there. I was just there.
So it must be the angle of the driveway coming down.
It's flat once you get to the bottom. So when you come out, it's flat. It goes down, and then it's flat. And then what I think you should do is build another garage out like this, and then he can pull straight in and then have that whole extra space. But that's just me.
I mean, it'd be cheaper to just have them pull out the main header beam and add another foot.
Oh, all right. There you go, Eric.
That's the easiest thing.
Get a bigger door, or make it a single door.
You can make a single door
instead of having 2 doors.
What you'd need to do is you need to get a glue lam, big beam, spanned across both openings, anchor them into the side posts, which are strong enough to hold up, and then you'll have that single span, and then you can change it out. And when he does that, he just raises it up the height, as long as there's no intrusion to the roof line, which there's supposed to be at least 2 feet between the opening and the next story. Does he have a second story?
Yeah, there's a story above it.
So he should be able to do it.
Well, there you go, Eric. We might have solved your problem. It'll only cost $80,000.
A glue lam is about $400, maybe more now, depending on the length, and then the construction costs for taking it out and replacing. He shouldn't need to get a permit because all he's doing is replacing what is there.
Right.
So he should be able to do that, and
All
it
right.
would be significantly less expensive than building a new structure.
Well, there you go. By the way, if you ever want to email us, it's show@caryada.com. And we also have a text line. If you want to text us, 610, no, we're not in that area code. It's just the only one I could get that it's spelled out, CarYada.
There you go.
You can text it anytime during the week. 610 CarYada, 610 CARYADA. Garage needed lifts and hard hats. Wait, garage needed lifts and hard hats. Jake, I don't know what you're saying.
Maybe he's saying his garage needs lifts and hard hats.
Oh, okay. Dan Linquist says maybe lower the van with airbags to roll it in the garage.
There you go.
You
Now,
could put it
does
lower.
it have a roof rack?
No, not the, it's not a huge van, but I know it doesn't fit. The garage is low.
I've just not heard of that. We had a Toyota minivan, Sienna, and fit in the garage, no problem at all.
Eric, you might have just a faulty house.
Well, in older
Might be time to
construction,
move.
they had smaller garage doors because the cars were not as tall.
Right.
So now, because we've got SUVs, but even then, minivans are not as tall as SUVs, so it should still fit.
Ray's just asking questions about a comedy show tonight in Bremerton. Do they serve popcorn? Yes, they do. There will be popcorn at the show. Ray also sent us a car of the week, which we can get to in a minute.
All right.
As long as he didn't send me a live photo. Let's see what the photo is. A special deal from Macy's.
Oh, look at there.
Not a live photo. Good.
This looks like my car.
Oh my God. Is that your car?
That is my car. Wow, this is nice. This is good. Is this is an RX 350? This is the Lexus.
I haven't showed it yet.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay.
I'm just showing you.
Oh,
Hold on. I got to present.
all right.
Raffi's all excited here.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is.
Oh, wait, before we even do that, hold on.
Oh, you got to do car of week bumper.
Yeah.
All right, let's put that out there.
Screwed that up. Hold on. Here's our car of the week. Act surprised.
Oh, look at that. That looks like an 07, maybe an 08. That's
It's an 09.
It's an 09. Okay. So this is Lexus SUV, the RX 350. These are fantastic automobiles. If you've never driven one, they are really very, very nice cars. They have the V6 engine, automatic transmission, lots of room in the back. Most of them are leather seats, sunroof, full power appointments. These are not expensive to maintain, surprisingly. You would think that because they're a luxury SUV, they would be expensive, but tires, brakes, general systems and repair stuff, all the consumables pretty much on a par with cars that regular sedans. These are not the best for fuel economy if you're looking for 30 plus miles to the gallon, but they get in the mid 20s in the city and high 20s to 30, 31 on the highway.
No, he gave us two pictures. We have the back, the butt side as well.
Okay.
So
and it looks like it's in excellent condition.
It's not an H. I was trying to see if it was potentially an H.
The H didn't come until later, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the H existed in 09.
And these,
I
again,
don't know.
the power back door, this has got a trailer hitch receptacle on it, which is great. I do want to caution people, you don't want to do a lot of heavy towing with this vehicle. It's a V6 front wheel drive configuration. So you're not going to be dragging around. You can pull jet skis and motorcycle trailers and things like that, but large size boats or car trailers, I don't recommend it.
Now this car has 170,000 miles on it. It was owned from a nice old couple in Bellevue.
There you go.
Not the mental institution, which doesn't exist anymore, Bellevue, Washington. And the problem I have with the trailer hitch, which is right there, I don't know why you can see my It's weird that you can
Well,
see
it's not a hitch; it's a receptacle. So,
what's the difference between a hitch and a receptacle?
so this will receive.
Oh, the hitch is the thing you put on there.
Right. So you can drive around without that giant ball sticking
Right.
out, bumping into things.
Now, looking at this little thing right here,
Mhm.
it looks like this is an aftermarket. This is not factory.
Yeah.
Which means this transmission might have issues because people always tow. Oh, it's got a tow receptacle.
Yeah.
I can take my boat. I mean, you might not be able to.
That's right, because again, these cars are not designed for large or high weight capacity towing. You can tow small cargo, small items, probably safely up to 1,500, 2,000 pounds, but a little bit more than that, especially if you're moving around and accelerating and decelerating and accelerating. Highway towing is not that bad, but again, Dan brings up a good point. Your transmission will go through excessive wear if you're towing quite a bit. 170,000 miles on this car. It's going to go for another 100,000 without any problems. Again, fairly easy to maintain. The quality, the build quality, very good. They hold their value too. I'm guessing price on this is going to be, I'll guess 8,900.
All right. Well, Ray has posted this 7,000 plus fees.
There you go.
So you might be around out the door. You might be out $8,000.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in this, you can text us or email us, and we'll put you in touch with Ray. 610-CarYada or show@CarYada.com. And that is our car of the week. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
There you go. Ray says, I agree. I don't like cars as a rule with tow hitches. See, he said hitches. You're so technical with the receptacle. So you're saying that I was going to get sexual.
It's a receiver. There's a squared out receiver.
Right. Okay.
You put the.
What about the electric Toyota I sent you? No money down, lease for $200 a month. The Toyota BX22. Oh wait, they're doing $200 a month on it now. Hold on a second.
That's the smaller one, isn't it?
No, that's the same as the Solterra.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's a heck of a deal if that's the case.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna share this real quick. Ray sent me this.
Okay. Let's see here. What do we?
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
It's minute 58.
Is leasing for less than $200 a month right now. And I'll be honest, if you're in the market for a new car,
I don't know if you guys
can't
can hear
really
it.
find a reason to not recommend it. So I'll just be frank. If you're shopping for a new electric car or really any car, the Toyota BZ4X is probably not at the top of your list. On paper, it's really not that special. And especially when you consider it's
in California,
$43,000, it's really not that attractive. But for whatever reason, right now, Toyota is practically giving this thing away. Like all over the country, Toyota is running these.
Look at this.
That is for real.
36 months, $19.99 due at signing, $199 a month.
That's incredible. They must be having trouble selling these. What's the range on these?
Page not found.
They took it down.
See, I wanted to get the Prius Prime.
Oh yeah. View the offer.
It can't.
It expires on 4/30/24.
Oh, here it is. There it is.
$199. Now it's $24.99 due at signing.
Oh, it changed.
Yeah. They must have had to recalculate that. 36 months. What is the range on this?
First off, what color would you do? Because it's got this weird black. Because this is exactly the same as the Subaru.
I wouldn't do red. I'd probably do the white. Yeah, that's good looking.
Silver?
Silver's also nice.
Gray?
I've never been a fan of gray cars. Or gray market cars.
Let's see what they have in Heartland Toyota. Look how many they have already. They have 3 in stock.
Wow. And it's $47,000. That's the average price of a new car these days.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Wow. Okay, so now my whole
plan with
Polestar
derailed.
Might be derailed. If I can get $200 a month and cut my payment more than in half, I may get one of these and just hold on to it until my lease is up.
There you go.
Or I can use this as shopping. See, this is where Now I go back to Polestar and I say, listen, 250-mile range.
listen. 250-mile range.
And Ray
Okay.
says he wants one.
You know what? I mean,
$200 a month.
if you've never owned an electric car, leasing is a great way to go because you can try it out. There's literally no risk at $200 a month. You try it out, you see if you like it, you see if it fits your lifestyle. 250-mile range it's not great, but it's also not 100-mile range. So most of the time when we're driving our car
is 250.
most of the time when we drive our car, gas-powered car, we are gassing up after 250 to 300 miles anyway.
Yeah.
So from a lifestyle perspective, not that big a deal. This is a 100% electric. You do need to do some conversion work on your in your garage, correct, Dan?
No,
This is actually
you can plug in a regular plug,
but it'll be slower charge.
Yes.
So it's an overnight charge.
Right. You can do a phase 2 pretty easily in your garage.
And phase 2 will be the faster charger on
right. You can do a 240.
Yeah.
You can do a 240, 241, whatever it takes.
220.
I mean 220.
Yeah.
220, 240.
220.
What's
It's
240?
I don't know what 240 is.
I hear 240 all the time.
220 you have
Like for your dryer. That's a 220.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And your oven.
All right.
It's 220.
All right. Anyway,
Anybody what is 240? I would go.
I spend more than that on Chick-fil-A and McDonald's.
There you go.
But you won't stop. So now you're gonna be spending $400 a month. Plus tax, so you have to add 10%
On
220 a month.
on the payment?
Yeah.
Okay.
You pay tax per payment on a lease. Yeah, this is insane because
That's a great deal.
the Subaru, I wonder if they changed the Subaru.
Do you think they lowered the Subaru one?
Let's see. Subaru Solterra. Okay, I'll accept cookies. I love cookies.
That's 329
With
and
nothing
zero down. So if you amortize over, so it's your higher monthly payment, but you're not coming to the table with cash out of your pocket,
Yeah.
which isn't a bad deal.
So I mean, look how similar the car is.
Very similar.
I mean, it's the same car
It basically is
with
the
this
same
weird
car.
black. What do you think of that for design?
That's on the Toyota as well.
Yeah. You think that's weird?
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to break up that side surface. It's a massive surface. They're trying to break it up a little bit, but more importantly, one of the things they've discovered on vehicles like this is they get this is where they get damaged. And if you have to replace the body colored panel, it's very expensive, and that drives the cost up. This would be a consistent across all colored panel replacement where they can replace that section if it's had a front corner impact, and it won't cost as much.
I'm not against the red.
Red is nice.
I mean, it just pops.
Yeah.
Look, there's an REI.
There you go. This is probably within millimeters of dimensions of the Toyota. It's basically going to be a very, very similar car.
Yeah.
And this is the future of almost all automobiles. We're going to see these taller packages. This is basically what we used to call tall wagon packages in
Right.
the automobile industry. The tall wagon is now sort of a short SUV, but because the body side sections have to come up higher to give you more side impact protection, it makes the greenhouse section smaller. So the side windows look a little bit smaller. There's the Lexus RZ, which you can get as a hybrid and electric. I think that's a
No, the RZs, they're all electric
that,
version.
but they do offer the same platform with the hybrid. I think that's a very good looking car.
20,000 lease cap. Let's see what their offers are for the Lexus.
Let's see.
Wow, that's and a zip code 98110. Okay.
I like that color too.
Sorry, no dealerships near you. Lexus of Seattle. Okay.
All right.
RZ styles. If there's a 23, you get $20,000 lease cash.
Oh, that's the comeback dollar amount.
That's how much they knock off to make the lease make sense.
So what? Well, these are 60 grand, aren't they? So they're much more expensive than than the 40.
They only have black ones, it looks like, but let's
Yeah,
see.
they're 60 grand. So you knock 20 off. Now you're coming back to the 40 number. So they can compete with, but they can't compete too aggressively against their own Toyota product.
Yeah.
So that would be problematic. But, the bottom line here is that what we're discovering is
But it's the same car. If you look at it, it's the same platform.
Absolutely. All cars, especially electric cars, are coming down in price, and they have to. The market's saturated. So many people have bought electric cars, and many people want to purchase one. But there's a lot of concern. They are high cost compared with a regular car. If you're looking for a vehicle as a daily driving car, you can buy a pre-owned gas-burning car, a luxury, a Lexus. You can buy Rays for $7,000, and that's no.
And if you finance that through your credit union, you're paying $200 a month. There you go, McDonald's and Chick-fil-A budget.
$200 a month, and you finance $7 grand. I think it comes down to like $130 a month.
Mr. Calculator. Well, it depends on how many months you're going to go. Ray says he asked, we'll get him one. He doesn't want to deal with the car salespeople or car dealerships.
There you go. We'll go.
Ray, the car guy.
We'll go buy the car for you.
By the way, if you're on TikTok, look up Radical Ray. He's got some really funny videos. I can't believe we're almost out of time.
Well, let's do gas prices and.
Are we gonna do old school?
We haven't.
Do you want to do old school? Or you want to do gas prices?
We can do old school.
Do you have one?
I always got
has
one.
He always has an old school ready to go for.
I do have an old school ready, and this is a fun one.
All right, here we go. We're gonna do some old school.
All right, we're going old school today, and since we've been talking about Toyotas, we're going to go back to the early 70s when Toyota introduced one of the most important automobiles in the Toyota lineup, the Toyota that literally put Toyota on the map in the United States, North America, and that is the Toyota Celica.
The Celica.
The Toyota Celica from 1970-71, one of the most successful cars. They built them in the coupe configuration and fastback configuration. And interestingly enough, the coupe configuration was patterned after the design of the 1970 Dodge Challenger. So if you look at the front end of the Toyota, you'll see that Dodge Challenger wraparound bumper look, the basic overall character. They scaled it down into a compact car. And for the fastback version, they patterned the fastback version after the 69 Mustang. So they looked at these large American performance cars and they scaled them down to a 7/8 scale. And they offered the Toyota Celica in the fastback and coupe model. These were enormously successful cars, very, very popular. People bought them. They were inexpensive, $2,000, $2,300, nicely optioned. You'd still get a great car for well under $3,000. Reliable, durable 4-cylinder engine with manual transmission or automatic, though most people selected the manual transmission. Enormously popular in the United States. And interestingly enough, a resurgence in popularity today. Today, these cars now passing 50 years old, which is hard to believe. These are classics. And these are now the subject of restorations, modifications. People have spent a significant amount of time enhancing them, restoring them back to new. They're not complex cars to restore, very basic vinyl interiors. Lots of companies make a lot of reproduction parts for them. So you can go out and you can buy one that's a little needy and find one for somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000. And you can fix it up over time and have yourself a car that in very nice condition can fetch in excess of $20,000 for a really nice one. So here's one Dan just pulled up, a 1977. That's a later series one, and that's a beautiful looking car. It looks like it's fully restored, nicely done. And that one is $21,000, and that I believe is at a dealer. Again, very sought after cars, good looking cars. You can see the Mustang influence there. This car looks like it could benefit from a new interior, but the The condition there is quite nice. And again, be very, very hard to find one of these in very nice original condition, but occasionally you do. They are out there. Even the later series cars, the ones that came later, the very, very successful, the Toyota Celica that
I like
came
this one.
after that, the second generation Celica was the Dave Stahl redesign from Toyota's Cal-T Studios in California. Cal-T, California Toyota. That particular design was one of the most, I think, the most popular, highest selling Celica in the model line. They continued to make the Celica for many, many years after that, but the first ones, the 7071 series cars, continue to be sought after, and why we've chosen it for old school today.
Well, there you go. I like this one too.
Yeah, that's nice. Nicely modified. This could be a JDM car, a Japanese domestic market car that was brought in and imported into the United States, but cleaned up, a little air dam on the front, Japanese front fender mirrors. Nicely done. These would be great cars, a lot of fun, and not hugely expensive. Easy to maintain as well.
Dan Lindquist says ex-girlfriend had a fastback, fun to drive.
There you go.
Or ex-gluten free. I think
Ex-gluten
I think
free.
GF was girlfriend, not gluten free.
There you go.
You never know.
Pretty much my girlfriend and now wife had one when we were in college. She had a Toyota Celica, great car, ran forever.
We'll keep our eyes open for some of those at the junk
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
the auctions.
they're
Maybe
out
we'll
there.
find one. Well, we've been talking. Oh wait, Adam has a quick question. Gas-related stations. Gas-related question. Why do some gas stations have diesel cheaper than regular gas, and some have regular cheaper than diesel? That's a good question, and I noticed it at the tribal stations,
Yeah.
especially, and I think it has to do with the taxation that they have to do if it's a tribal issue.
So there are some tax implications for regular fuel and diesel fuel that will change the price metric, but I believe it has more to do with your area and what the typical diesel sales have been in that area. So if sales are high and you get more volume, that tends to bring the price down because they prefer to move more volume of fuel out of that station. So if the sales are low and not many people are coming by there to buy, then they're more likely to raise the price, because if they're going to keep it there for a longer period of time, they know that their opportunity to move that much diesel is lower, so they sell it at a higher price. You can't really balance the two. The assumption would be that, well, we'll lower the price and sell it faster. That's not the case because the buyers aren't there. So it has to do with the volume of fuel going through your zip code.
And it also has to do with, is it a good convenience store?
Well, that does
Literally,
make a
because
difference.
some convenience stores, they do better business. Obviously, if they have cheaper gas, more people come there, they'll go in and they'll buy something.
That's true.
And there's the profit there. So it's a loss leader. If it's a place that's just a gas station with, maybe it's a tiny little store that doesn't do a ton of business, their gas might be a little more expensive because they have to make their money somewhere.
Yeah.
But the tribal, the laws have changed so much over the past years. That used to always be the cheapest gas.
Yeah.
And now we have Safeway up the street from our tribal stations, where the gas is about the same price. And then if you've got your Safeway card,
you get a
you can
reduction.
knock off up to $1 a gallon on top of that.
Well, and look, fuel prices, they're all over the map, and they have been, and there's so much instability. And people say, well, it's because of electric cars. Well, electric cars haven't made enough of an impact yet from a volume perspective. They're going to eventually. Hybrid cars have made a greater impact because it's reduced the amount of fuel use or consumption.
Right.
But more people are back to driving now than during the pandemic. So we're starting to get sort of new stabilization. And it takes a couple of years of fuel pricing to establish stabilization after the 2.5 year period of, when we were paying, I think I paid $1.98 for gas during COVID.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about gas, real quick, and then we have to say goodbye already. If you look at people like, well, I remember when gas was $1 a gallon. If you go back to the 80s when it was $1 a gallon, and you take the average income as a percentage, if you increase gas that much, gas should be $4.50 right now.
Right.
So people don't look at that. They think, well, it should always be the same. Well, look at the price of cars.
Yeah.
Look how much they've jumped since the 80s. And everybody makes gas political, and it shouldn't be, because it has nothing to do with who the president is or their policies, because there's so many little issues. We're producing more gas in the United States than we've ever done in the history of the United States right now.
Politicians are producing more hot air, though.
They do.
So there's a lot of gas coming from politicians.
Yes, and that's what we'll end our political talk today. Thank you for tuning in. Are we back next week?
I'm here
I'm in
next
town.
week.
We'll be back next week on the
next week.
27th.
We'll see you then.
We'll see you then. And if you have any questions, again, during the week, text us 610-CarYada or send an email to info@caryada.com.
See ya.
Bye.